fools? Big T here, back with another video. And in this video, I'm going to give you my version of what I think the Super Mario 3D All-Stars package should have looked like. That includes what the physical package should have been, possibly, and what the game menu and extras and all that stuff should have been thus far. And I think it would have made it a way more acceptable package, a way more worth it package. And if you are one of those people who defend what was given, then that means you have to look at what I'm showing you and the information I'm going to back it with and say, well, I don't want any of this. I mean, that's the only logical leap you can take here. So I did this kind of visual effects project back when I was in college for my film school degree, and it was required of me to work in a program called Cinema 4D, which is a 3D modeling program, very familiar to artists of that realm in 3D design these days. So most people who are in that field will know Cinema 4D. It's like 3ds Max, I think that's what it's called, and Maya and stuff like that. So it's a very similar program to those. So I had this project that I had to work on for my Cinema 4D class. As a filmmaker in the digital age, you're expected to know how to do certain visual effects things, motion graphics, nothing too intricate. They're not expecting you to do a Transformers movie or something, but just to understand how 3D effects, 2D effects even, and After Effects and whatnot work with gaming, or work with gaming and also with film, because we did do some stuff that had to do with gaming as well. My school had a gaming program, so I hung around a lot of those guys and got some good knowledge and whatnot. So for this project, you got to understand that this was in 2007. I don't even think I exported this in HD initially. I think I kind of up-rendered it to HD. But texture-wise, it's pretty decent. But I think the initial export was 640p, but I could be wrong. But anyway, so 3D modeling and all that stuff is not my forte. I know how to do it, but I'm not like on the higher end of that spectrum. So the modeling and whatnot, it's not going to be the best. It's not going to be representative of what I would actually do for, say, if I had this project to make the menu system and whatnot for 3D All-Stars. But it's just to give you an idea of where I would have went in that realm, and to prove that it wouldn't have been all that difficult for even two-man team to pull off a really good menu system. And I have done menu systems. I've done menu systems for DVD Studio and as well as Blu-ray. So it's very similar in that way, because all you're doing is you're taking assets that you create outside of the program, outside of the menu making program. You're taking, PNGs, Photoshop files or whatever. You're taking video files. You're taking assets like that, and you're making paths. So you're putting in these elements. You're making buttons, and you're making paths that open certain things. So if you hit a button to start Super Mario 64, you make a path to it. You can jazz it up how you want, and it'll just start that game, and then the emulator will run at that point. And so it's very similar. From my experience, it can be done relatively easy with a tiny budget. And so for this particular project, say if I was to charge someone for what I did here, I would probably charge like $800 to $1,000 on my low end. Now, if I really went in on my end, you're talking maybe $2,000 to $3,000 from someone of my skill set. And I could do a lot better than what I'm showing you here at this point, obviously. But that's where I would charge at that point. But obviously higher end. But Nintendo's dealing with in studio people, so it's not like their costs would be significantly way higher than my high end fee on my level. They could get a couple of guys to do something really good on a weekend. I'm not even kidding you, because I put this together in a couple of hours, but I already had some assets. But the thing is, Nintendo is going to provide a lot of those assets. They have the original vector, original photos, press stuff, that for high resolution photos and all that kind of stuff, high resolution video, and they have all that stuff already. They can just hand it over to those two guys, and they can go to work and put out something really, really nice, and be way better than what they offered up in 3D All Stars, which is pretty lazy, as I've said before, and I'm just trying to prove that even more here. But again, like, I would, for what I would do outside of this, is I would go in, if I really wanted to go in and make something really cool, I would get, models and whatnot, assets from Nintendo themselves already built, and I would do something similar to the Sega the Sonic collection. I can't remember the name of it right now. Sonic something on Sega Saturn, where there's like a 3D hub where you can run around as Sonic, and you basically go to the different games through that 3D hub, and you can access extras and all that kind of stuff. That's more in line of something I would have done, just to make a little tiny 3D hub using Nintendo's assets that they already have, so you won't have to be modeling and doing anything new, for the most part, and do it that way. But for this, I just wanted to show you, how much better things could have been. And again, this is not the best I could do by far. I'm using a video, basically an export from 2007, on a little project that had nothing to really do with this, other than the fact that it was a Nintendo theme. So I themed my project for Nintendo, a hypothetical real television station that was centered around Nintendo. That was what my project was. And so I made this kind of little 3D rendering of a room with Nintendo consoles and stuff in it, and almost kind of like a production bumper. And so I'm using that as my 3D hub. But the thing is, this is a already rendered out video. I don't have access to the original Cinema 4D file. That's what I would have liked to have done, and been able to go in and really tweak some things. But we'll get into that as I show you this stuff. So I'm going to start it the way Nintendo actually has their 3D All Stars, with that little video bumper in the beginning that gets you into the menu. So let's start that now. And there you have it, Mario doing his thing in 3 different games, 3D All Stars. And this is me transitioning from that. I just took a Photoshop file and blew it up, and I'm just stretching it into what I would call my menu. And you see, you go there for Mario, you see a giant Pokeball in the corner, and here is the main menu itself. Again, you can see it's a little bit rudimentary because I didn't have the assets to be able to go in and do like 3D arrows and modeling and all that stuff that I would have done. So this is kind of a representation of that. But you can see, obviously, the Super Mario 3D All Stars logo to let you know what game you're playing. There's a little bonus bouncing ball at the bottom. Then you have the GameCube, which is not quite a cube. Again, my modeling wasn't all that great. Not that it's super great now, but it wasn't the best at that time. So I have an arrow pointing to GameCube, which is going to be Sunshine, obviously, an arrow pointing to Wii. I have a little flat texture showing the Wii up there on the little stand there next to the TV. You can see the bottom half of the Wii, the stand of the Wii, and the disc slot and whatnot. And then also the N64, which is actually Ocarina of Time cartridge in there. And that's the thing I would have changed. Obviously, I would have put Mario 64. But again, this is for a project I did way long ago, like 13 or 14 years ago. and I wasn't able to go back into the original project and change stuff. So keep that in mind, and arrow pointing to that. So we'll go into the bonus content or my bonus menu later, but from here we're just going to go to I think where we're going to start with Mario 64, I'm guessing. And here we go. We'll pull that away, and we jump right into Mario 64. And this is not just about the menu itself, but what I would have done for Mario 64. As you can see here, this is not Mario 64 from the Nintendo 64. I would have done this type of remake. Now, I don't like mini remakes that make the game feel different, and this is a really cool one here, where it's basically a texture pack for the original kind of the original code of Mario 64 that brings it way more modern. And this will be way more acceptable to me as a remake. As you can see, the textures are way better looking. Mario's model is way up to date. This was done in Unreal. I'll leave links to the original videos in the description below for the original stuff, anyway. And this is a Mario 64 remake I could get behind, because it still retains the original feel of the game, but it just modernizes it, textures wise and models wise, and I like this a lot. I would have no problem playing this even over Mario 64 on the N64. Because I'm kind of a purist and I don't do that much, but this looks so close to the original game and still modern in ways. Obviously, the modeling and whatnot of 3D models and whatnot. Some of them aren't crazy good or anything like that, but this looks really nice as far as that goes. And you can see my little start button there down on the device itself. You saw my model of the N64, my 3D model of the N64. That took me forever to do back in the day. From what I remember, the game pops up out of a pipe, so that you get to see the actual cart, or the box it came in, what it looks like. That comes up out of a little thing. You have the info button that gives you kind of a breakdown of the game, a written breakdown of the game, so you can hear about what the game is about. Just some info there. Maybe a press kit inside of a different menu. I didn't build that menu. I'm just telling you what I would have done there. And then you have, the big Mario 64 logo. I think this looks really cool. And you can look at the floor texture on my 3D rendering there and tell it's, not not modern. I did this forever ago. So for sake of time, I didn't go back and remodel all this stuff for this. But because I think me explaining this would get you there where you understand where I'm coming from on this. So, but yeah, I would do a full-on remake. So that would be one significant change to the actual package itself, the game itself, is that I would give a Mario 64 remake of this magnitude, of this design, of this style, and maybe have you be able to flip back and forth between Mario 64, the original, and this newer widescreen, up-modeled, up-textured version of Mario 64. The way a lot of games do it. Master Chief Collection does that. You can just flip on the fly as you're playing the game to the original Xbox version of the game, or to the remake version of the game. So that's really cool, and that would have been phenomenal. That alone would have made this package way better. But it is what it is. But this is me saying, hey, this is how I believe it should have been to make this more exciting of a package. And I think fans would have liked it a lot more. You wouldn't have had all the arguing and whatnot, the back and forth. I mean, look at Bowser's model. Looks so good now, more modern. And we were flipping over to the GameCube here, and you can see the same, So you slide into the different consoles, and similar things are popping up. You have the pipe popping up, spitting out the package, or not the package, the game itself, how it looks on the GameCube, the game case and whatnot. Again, you have the info button. You can go into a kind of a again, written paragraph about the game itself, similar to what they already have in 3D All Stars. Instead of having that flat on the main menu screen, you can go into that and maybe have a couple little more things, like some artwork from the game, concept art, maybe the beta look, a video about the beta of Sunshine and how it looked, stuff like that. That would have been way cooler than nothing, that we got. But here you go. You have the start button there on the playhead of the video that takes you into the game itself, and then you're basically going into the emulator to play the game. And I wouldn't have changed much with the actual game of Sunshine. If I'm going to do all this other stuff, I probably wouldn't have gone in and done too much, but I would definitely fix the controls of the game, tighten them up, and I would have also allowed you to use your GameCube controller, because there are third-party games on Switch that allow you to use GameCube controller. Why wouldn't a first-party game that worked really well with the analog triggers, especially with Sunshine, allow you to use the GameCube adapter and controller? So I don't understand that at all. I don't know why they haven't done that, why they haven't patched it in as of yet. But that should be something that gets patched in for this game. You guys know how I feel about Sunshine, and a lot of it has to do with the controls and kind of the rushed nature of the game that I feel as I'm playing it. Some of the kind of gameplay design, I'm actually going to have a full-on video about that as well, so stay tuned for that. But that's where I would go with Sunshine and whatnot. I wouldn't go, too far into it. I mean, the games look really good outside of Mario 64. I mean, it still looks good. It looks better than the N64 version, the textures and whatnot. But Sunshine and I think Galaxy benefit a lot from the widescreen, HD, up-res and whatnot factors. So that's why I would have done a remake for Mario 64. But I'm not going to go back to that. But this game, it is what it is here, and we're going to go ahead and move on to the Wii. Now, this is the most janky one because, again, this is supposed to be the graphic for my Wii channel, and that's why it's not just a standalone Wii sitting there. I did the Wii channel thing. But here is, you'll see right away, out of the pipes comes both Super Mario Galaxy and Super Mario Sunshine, remastered in HD at widescreen and 60 frames. Is where it should have been. Oh yeah, by the way, not Galaxy, but Sunshine, I would have made 60 frames. I don't know why that wasn't the case, but that would have been a 60 frames game. I'm guessing because of the emulator, they didn't want to do too much work again. But even outside of the games themselves, I wouldn't feel like you had to do a whole lot to make this package a lot better and make it more worthy of a 35th collection, anniversary collection. I mean, this is Mario. This is his 35th anniversary collection. Surely you can do better than Rare Replay, Surely you can do better than Mega Man collection. Surely you can do better than the Genesis collection. As far as beefing up and boosting up your menu system and your bonuses and whatnot that you add to these games. Surely you can do better than your Nintendo. This is Nintendo. This is your big mascot. This is Mario. And what you put out with such bare bones and is just disrespectful to me, to the character of Mario, disrespectful to his legacy, and just not up to par. And if you want to argue with me about that, feel free to do so. I think I have the high ground, as Obi-Wan said. Don't be silly. I have the high ground here. But last thing I'm going to show you is my bonus menu, just to give you an idea. Again, this is something I did all the time in Blu-ray Studio and DVD Studio. Where I made a bonus features menu, and it's very simple to do. It's super simple. I could teach you how to do it in 10 minutes, just on the bare minimum But then you can start thinking about, oh, I can do this, I can do that. So in the background, you have a texture that I blurred. It's Mario themed. It's got shells and Koopa Troopas and whatnot, but I blurred it out because I don't want you focusing on the background. But you could do whatever you want. It's a moving texture. I did a motion pull on it, and so it gives it a little bit more pizzazz. And then I have these 4 videos here. History of 3D Mario. These are all videos I pulled from YouTube. Miyamoto on Galaxy 2, Bill Trinen Talks Galaxy, and what inspired Super Mario 64. And these are just, I quickly pulled them. I didn't think a whole lot about it, but I could have done more. I could have made this menu pop a little bit better. Maybe I would put some cool borders on all the videos and whatnot. And so you have the start button, and then you can just move around and select what video you want to play, and it goes from this menu into that asset, and it just easily selects it. Again, this is not something that's difficult to do. Make a jazzy menu system. If you just look at Rare Replay, it is very beefy, but what they did, it looks really nice with the motion menus and whatnot. They look really nice, but it didn't take them too long. Some of that stuff, a lot of that stuff, they had to kind of draw in Photoshop or whatever from scratch and all that, so that could take some time. But I think they could have put that menu together. At least the assets, sans like the video, the behind the scenes, all that stuff is a whole nother production. So new behind the scenes videos and whatnot that they did for Rare Replay. And there was a lot of them, and you can unlock stuff from playing games. It was really cool. It was really interactive in that way. And so you can go that route as well. But if you wanted to go a little bit simpler and just pull videos that Nintendo already has in their archives, and take those assets into a menu setup, a menu studio, and connect them all and go. It wouldn't take that much. It wouldn't be that hard to do. And that's why I'm emphasizing the fact that it was lazy. So if I'm going to say something lazy, some people are going to disagree. I'm going to explain how it's lazy. And there's still going to be some people that disagree because some people just want to defend, I don't know why. This is to your benefit. This is to your own benefit. This would make the package better. You wouldn't have people complaining in the way. Like, even if you didn't go in and make Mario 64 remake like I did, for this, my version of it. Even if you didn't do that, if you did all this other stuff, there would be way less complaining. It'd be 70% less complaining about what actually came out. And you can complain about something and still purchase it. There's, some people may see that as hypocritical. I don't as much. It depends on exactly what it is. It depends on the circumstances. There are gray areas there. So you may just, okay, I guess I'll do it. I don't really want to. How many times have we done that in life? I'm going to do something I don't really want to do, because you give it yourself a justification why. I don't want to lose out on this collection piece, blah, 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 whatever. But my point is that they could have done something way better, and they chose not to, and it wouldn't have been much on their resources. And Nintendo has substantial resources. They're the richest country in their They're the richest company in their country. They have the resources. They have a couple of guys. Even if it was for a week, I'm saying a weekend, I think they can do some pretty cool stuff. Even if it's for a week, they have enough resources to pull that off. And last but not least, let me see if I can pull it up here. Last but not least, the physical nature of 3D All Stars was super lackluster to me. When you're releasing an NES game, and Fire Emblem, the Fire Emblem release they just had, and its package looks better than your flagship mascot celebration collection looks, that's pretty pathetic. It's pretty sad when a $6 download game on any for NES, its physical package looks better than Mario. That's just there's no defending that. There's none. So here you have my package and how it would have looked, and I probably would have done more, but this is just, for me, this is the bare minimum, so first of all, I wouldn't have put the soundtrack in the game itself, because nobody wants to sit back and waste gaming time listening to a soundtrack, because you want to listen to that soundtrack, you want to listen to music as you're playing games. So if you're playing the soundtrack on 3D All-Stars, you're not playing the games. You have to sit there and listen to the sound. You can't do both. So that's why I would have completely separated that, either with the CD, but nobody does CDs anymore. So I would have done what you see here is a little USB, a little Mario-headed USB, Mario-themed, and I would have put the music on there. And that would have solved that problem. So you have a nice little physical trinket, and you have the soundtrack separate, and you can listen to it on your computer, you can put it through your iTunes or whatever. Nintendo did this with Xenoblade Chronicles X for Wii U. They had a USB drive that had the soundtrack on it, and you could play it that way. And I don't know why. Well, outside of being lazy, if you can say it's not laziness, why not do that for your 35th anniversary 3D Mario All-Stars? I don't understand. So I was thinking about making that, because I think it looks really cool, the Super Mario 3D All-Star logo you see here, turning that into a pin, a collector's pin. That would have been cool as well, but I didn't do it here. But other simple things, reversible cover. So I just did a little thing in Photoshop, reverse the cover for 3D All-Stars and give you like the NES look. So you have Mario 64 at the top, with the NES sprite look, Mario Sunshine in the middle there with the backpack squirting water. Again, NES NES sprite design is sort of, and also Super Mario Galaxy. I couldn't do them both. I think that would have been way too much on the cover to do Mario Galaxy 1 and 2, but I think just one would, just on my hypothetical reversible cover here, just one on that would have been really cool to show people, to represent both Mario Galaxies 1 and 2. So I think that would have been good enough. And then you have another little booklet inside with the Super Mario Brothers Encyclopedia. This is something they already have. They already have this. So all they would have had to do is put this into the box. I think it's bigger than I'm representing it here. Shrink it down, put it in there. I think it was first 30 years of Mario. I changed it to 35 years for the 35th anniversary. They did this for the 30th, the official guide. So you just would have had to add a couple of pages of new stuff in the last 5 years and been done with that and throw it in there. It wouldn't cost them. It would cost them literally nothing to do that, other than the paper it's printed on. Then you have a SNES style box. I just thought it looked cool to have the Super Nintendo style box. You could go with the N64 as well, but I wanted to cover everything because I had the reversible case for NES, then Super Nintendo box covers Super Nintendo, then the 3 games themselves cover N64, GameCube, and Wii. So I think that would have been cool. So there you have the little graphic Super Mario 35th Anniversary Collection, the 1-Up mushrooms, and then it just shows you what's in there. Retro reversible cover, artwork encyclopedia, Mario USB soundtrack, and SNES styled case. And this would have been fantastic. This would have sold way more than what we've gotten. What we got sold pretty well because of the it's going away effect, and a collector mentality of I got to get this before it's gone. So that helped it sell. But you could have sold this for even more than 60, maybe. I wouldn't have. I was still going with 60, because you give more value to your fans doing that. Maybe you could have sold this for 70 or 80. Maybe this wouldn't be the main thing. Maybe this would be just for the super collector. Show some effort for your flagship franchise, for your mascot of 35 years for your company. Like, what they gave us was so bare bones and pathetic that it just really upset me and pushed me to make this video, to spend hours. I spent a few hours on putting this all together and to show you guys, and who knows how well it'll do with views. I hope it does really well, but this is something that Nintendo could have, put, budget-wise, 20 grand into, at least for putting all this stuff, the materials together. I mean, obviously, there was still going to be costs as far as materials, shipping and all that, but you're still going to make way more bank than you deserve to. You're still going to make way more money doing it, and you wouldn't have this souring of your fan base, of a lot of core fans. So, yeah. So, yes, I'll say it again. 3D All-Stars, as it is super lazy. They could have done something like this and ingratiated themselves even more with the fan base. I don't understand the infighting about the fact that this isn't a great package. Come on, guys. Come on. What we got is a joke. This would have been phenomenal. And Nintendo should be ashamed. They should be ashamed. And now they're doing it again. In some ways, with their new release I talked about recently. I'll talk about that in a separate video. Kinda. So you'll see that. And yeah, let me know what you guys think. Do you think this is a cool package and setup I got here? Again, I didn't go in and do original assets for a lot of this stuff, but if I'd done original assets, I could have done this in a weekend myself. Done original assets with modeling, and done what I wanted to do without having Nintendo's resources on my own. And you have this guy who made this remake. You're talking about some dude at home making a Super Mario 64 remake in his own time. Making the 3D, or making the texture pack basically for the original game. For the what is it called? Source code, for the original source code of the game. You already have that. He basically just made this HD texture pack that modernizes it, that makes it look like a remake in many ways. I like to call this a game that's not fully a remake, that's not a fully remaster. So for a remaster of Super Mario 64, some guy did this on his own in his free time, and you're telling me Nintendo couldn't put something like that together for this Celebration Collection? I mean, give me a break. But people will still defend this, even with strong evidence and strong information about why it should have been better. But there you go, guys. That's my take. Let me know what you think in the comments below about my setup here. Do you think it looks cool? Do you think Nintendo should have went along these lines instead of what they went? Let me know. Thank you again for watching and listening, and I'll see you folks next time. Peace out.